Once upon a time, in the magical, wintry land of the North Pole, there was a fantastical workshop like no other. It was full of bustling elves, tinkling bells, and the smell of fresh gingerbread. This was Santa's workshop, where Christmas magic came to life every day of the year. In this workshop, toys were built, presents were wrapped, and joy was made out of thin air for children all over the world. Of course, Santa Claus himself was in charge of the workshop, but he did not work alone. The elves were small but mighty, fueled by Christmas cheer and extremely skilled in their work. This story is about two of those elves in particular. Holly had an eye for detail, and she had a very important job. She was responsible for making sure every doll had just the right dress, every car had the smoothest wheels, and every teddy bear had a perfectly tied ribbon. She took her job very seriously, and she never liked to ask for help. Jingle was the inventor of the workshop. He was always creating new gadgets and tools to help make Christmas even more magical. He took his job seriously too, but he could be quite shy, and he often worried about what other people would think of his ideas. One chilly December morning, just a few days before Christmas Eve, Santa gathered all the elves together in the main workshop hall. His twinkling eyes were filled with excitement, but there was a hint of concern on his face.
"Listen up, everyone," Santa said. "We have a problem. Some of the most important toys, the ones for children who've been extra good, have been left in the old barn by mistake. They must be retrieved before Christmas Eve, otherwise the children won't have any presents."
The elves gasped and whispered among themselves.
"Don't worry,"
Santa continued, smiling reassuringly.
"I'm sure it's just a mix-up, but I'll need some volunteers to go and collect them. Anyone?"
Holly and Jingle immediately raised their hands.
"We'll go,"
they said in unison. Santa beamed.
"I knew I could count on you two. The old barn is in the far northern forest. It's quite a tricky road, and the weather report says a blizzard is on its way, so it won't be easy. But you'll probably be fine."
Holly and Jingle quickly bundled up warmly. They grabbed a map from Santa, which would help guide them through the North Pole's tricky tracks and winding woods, and off they went, waving goodbye to the rest of the elves. As they made their way through the snow-covered woods, Holly and Jingle chatted eagerly about their mission. Holly couldn't wait to see the special toys, and Jingle was already thinking about how he could improve the toy delivery system for next year. The journey started off smoothly, but as they ventured deeper into the forest, the wind began to pick up. Snowflakes swirled around them, and the once clear path became harder to see.
"This blizzard is coming in fast,"
Holly said, squinting against the cold wind.
"We should check the map to make sure we're still going the right way."
Jingle pulled the map out of his pocket and unfurled it. But as he did, a sharp gust of wind tore it from his grasp, and it was carried away, lost forever.
"Oh no!"
Jingle cried.
"What will we do now?"
Holly tried to raise Jingle's spirits.
"Don't worry, Jingle. I'm sure you'll think of something. You always do."
Jingle felt a little tingle of pride at this. He had a big think, and finally he said,
"I do have an idea."
And he pulled some special magical binoculars out of his pocket. This amazing invention let him see the nearest cup of hot cocoa, and he immediately lowered them and pointed into the snowy woods, announcing,
"That way."
The two elves hurried on and found themselves at a cosy little house made entirely of gingerbread. The walls were covered in sugared jellies, the roof was lined with gumdrops, and a candy cane chimney puffed out sweet-smelling smoke. A golden glow shone from the windows, inviting them inside. They knocked hopefully on the gingerbread door, and, to their surprise, it swung open of its own accord, revealing the most enticing sight. Inside was a warm, glowing room filled with twinkling lights, a roaring fireplace, and the sweet smell of gingerbread and hot cocoa. Sitting by the fire was an old elf, dressed in a patchwork coat and wearing a jolly smile.
Well, well,
The old elf said with a chuckle.
what do we have here? 2 of Santa's finest lost in the storm?
Holly and Jingle nodded and told the old elf about their mission.
I see.
The old elf said kindly.
The old barn's not too far from here, but the blizzard has hidden the path. Perhaps you would like some help?
Holly shifted nervously at this. She didn't like to ask for help, but she knew this was the only way.
Yes, please.
She said nervously, shifting from one foot to the other. The old elf reached into his pocket and pulled out a small, shimmering crystal shaped like a snowflake.
Take this,
He said, handing it to Holly.
It's a snowflake compass. It will point you in the right direction, no matter how fierce the storm. Just follow where it leads and you'll be at the barn in no time.
Thank you.
Holly said, her eyes wide with gratitude. Jingle just gaped at the snowflake compass in wonderment.
How does it work?
The old elf chuckled again.
Just a little Christmas magic, dear boy. Now hurry along. You still have time to make it.
Holly and Jingle thanked the old elf again and stepped back out into the snowy night. As soon as Holly held up the compass, it began to glow softly, showing them the way to go. The wind still howled and the snow still swirled around them, but the compass's glow guided their way. After walking for what felt like hours, the glow of the barn's lights finally appeared through the trees. Holly and Jingle cheered with relief as they hurried towards it. Once inside the barn, they found rows and rows of the most beautiful toys they had ever seen. There were dolls dressed in velvet gowns, wooden trains painted with bright colours, and teddy bears as soft as clouds.
We found them!
Holly exclaimed, her face glowing with excitement. Jingle grinned.
Now let's get them back to the workshop before Santa loads up the sleigh.
The 2 elves worked quickly, loading the toys onto a special sled that Jingle had found and modified with extra speed boosters. With the magical compass still guiding them, Holly and Jingle made their way back through the forest, the sled gliding smoothly over the snow. As they approached Santa's workshop, they could see the other elves waving and cheering. Santa was standing at the entrance, his face lit up with joy as Holly and Jingle arrived.
Well done, my dear elves, Santa boomed, clapping his hands. You're just in time. You've saved Christmas.
Holly and Jingle beamed with pride as the other elves helped unload the toys and placed them into Santa's magical sack. Santa gave them both a big, warm hug.
You two have shown bravery, teamwork, and best of all, you believed in yourselves, Santa said kindly. I couldn't be prouder.
And as Santa flew off into the starry sky, his sleigh full of toys and his heart full of joy, Holly and Jingle shared a hot cup of cocoa and celebrated their great success. They both knew that this Christmas would be one they would never forget. The end. And Merry Christmas. Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed this magical story. If you want to come along on more of our adventures, make sure you subscribe to our channel. There's so much more to be discovered. You can start right now by clicking on our channel and picking your next favourite tale. There really is something for everyone, from daring heroes and mischievous creatures to magical lands and secret wonders. And remember, by subscribing, you'll be the first to know when a brand new story is ready to be enjoyed. Let's go.